Hey guys, it's Swansky here, and today we're back in Elite Dangerous, and we're going to be talking about the recently announced Horizons expansion. This announcement came out on the day that I made a video saying I doubted they would be announcing planetary landings, and of course that's exactly what they announced, so it turns out I was kind of wrong about that. But anyway, so what we'll do is we'll talk a little bit about the pricing of the expansion and how it's going to be released and that sort of thing, and then we'll go into a little bit more detail about what the expansion will actually involve and what sort of things it will bring into the game. But before we get into that, the video that you're seeing at the moment is just some combat in my Python at a resource extraction site. I got some decent luck with the spawns, so managed to get some decent ships, a few pythons to kill, a few clippers, that sort of thing. Nothing crazy. I mean, it wasn't a high intensity extraction site or anything like that, but still, it was some decent combat. But anyway, so let's start talking about this expansion. And the first thing we need to know is when it's coming out. So at the moment, there's no real set release date. We do know that it's coming out holiday 2015. Nothing more specific than that really. And both the beta and the full release are listed as being holiday 2015. Realistically, you would expect the beta to come out at least a month before launch. At least I would expect that. It could be that they only do like a 2-week beta or something like that, but I don't know. Personally, I'd expect it to stay in beta for a bit longer than that. I would hope that it would stay in beta for longer than that, because otherwise, I mean, what's the point of beta apart from being a glorified demo? But anyway, realistically, for the launch of the actual Horizons update, I guess you would be looking at December 2015, probably. So it all depends on how you consider holiday, I suppose. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the pricing. So there's a couple of different ways you can get the Horizons expansion. Now, first off, if you already own Elite Dangerous, then you can buy Horizons for £30. I'm only going to be doing this in pounds, by the way. You can do the currency conversions yourself because there are so many different currencies and everything. Anyway, so £30 for just the expansion. Alternately, you can get the beta pre-order for £40, which obviously gives you the beta as well as the Horizons update. And one other interesting thing is that Frontier has brought back the Lifetime Expansion Pass. Now, if you weren't around back in Premium Beta, basically that was something you could buy it came included with Premium Beta, and you could buy it in addition to Standard Beta. I think that's right. It cost like £35-40, something like that. And it gives you, well, as the name would imply, lifetime access to any expansions. And that includes beta access. So if you've got a Lifetime Expansion Pass, you automatically get beta access for Horizons and everything else. But anyway, Frontier is actually selling the Lifetime Expansion Pass again, but they've massively increased the price, so it's £120 now, which comes out to something close to $200 US. That's kind of expensive. I mean, I can't really talk too much about expensive given the money I've spent on Star Citizen and all that sort of thing, but it's still kind of expensive, especially given the price that it used to be. I'm really kicking myself for not buying it back when I had the chance. Because now I'm going to be forking out, £40 for the beta pre-order. But anyway, so those are the ways you can get it if you already own Elite Dangerous. If you don't own Elite Dangerous, you can buy a Horizons pre-order for £40. And buying that pre-order also gives you the original Elite Dangerous, but you only get access to that when Horizons comes out. So that's kind of a trade-off that you'll have to make, I suppose, if you want to get Horizons without having to buy the game separately. You can also pre-order the beta for £50, and you can also just buy the Lifetime Expansion Pass, and I believe that also gives you the Elite Dangerous game. So yeah, if you buy the Lifetime Expansion Pass right now and you don't own Elite Dangerous, you'll gain access to Elite Dangerous. So yeah, there are a few different ways of purchasing the expansion and everything. Now, one of the things that they're doing is that they're kind of splitting the game up into seasons. So what we've got now, which is, say Year 1 Elite Dangerous, that would be considered Season 1, and the Horizons update is going to be considered as Season 2. So one thing that they're doing is if you own Season 1 right now, and I think if you get Horizons during Season 1, basically, so if you get Horizons before it's launched, basically, you will unlock a Cobra Mark IV. As to how good that ship is going to be, I've got no idea, but, it's something. They are also doing a discount at the moment, which I forgot to mention. They're calling it a loyalty discount. It's basically pre-order now to get a discount on Horizons. So I guess after Horizons launches, those prices that we mentioned will be going up. So it's something to be aware of, I suppose. But yes, that's kind of all about the pricing and everything. It is, especially if you want the beta, it is kind of expensive. I mean, this expansion is going to cost the same amount as a AAA title, basically. obviously you're going to have to decide for yourself whether it's worth it. One thing I would suggest is, if you don't want to get the beta, don't pre-order this until the beta comes out. You know, if you're concerned about the price or anything like that, just wait until the beta comes out, watch some YouTube videos and that sort of thing. If you like it, then you can pre-order it then, or otherwise you can hold off. I mean, you know, even if you buy the Horizons pre-order after the beta comes out, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to do that. You'll still get all the fancy stuff and everything, so there's no need to do it right now. Personally, I would suggest just kind of holding off and waiting a little bit. You're not going to lose anything by doing that, basically. And I mean, we've seen so many times lately, just pre-ordering games, you're opening yourself up for a world of hurt if it doesn't really deliver. And I mean, let's be completely honest, Elite in its first year hasn't quite delivered everything that it's promised to. I mean, it's a fun game and everything. I enjoy playing it. I wouldn't have played it and made so many videos if I didn't enjoy it. But the fact is that they haven't quite delivered on everything they said that they would. So, you know, that's just something to think about, I suppose. But anyway, let's kind of talk about some of the stuff that Horizons will include. And there's a really good forum post that's been made by a guy called Barking Mad. I'll leave a link to that in the video description. This is kind of just, he's brought together a bunch of different information and stuff that's been talked about Horizons, as well as a couple of, you know, upcoming updates, CQC and the update after that. But anyway, so let's have a bit of a talk about Horizons. So what will we get? Originally, we'll be able to land on airless planets and moons. Now, apparently, there will be plans later on. I don't know if there's going to be another paid expansion, or if it will be just an update later down the track, but apparently they will be doing atmospheric stuff later. But to start with, you'll be landing just on planets with no air, basically. I guess that's because there's not going to be actual first person running around. So that's one way of making sure you don't get out of your lander, I suppose, whatever it's called. Scarab, Surface Recon Vehicle, something like that. Anyway, so yeah, airless. There'll be 4 different types of planets and moons, that sort of thing. So ice, rock, metallic, and apparently one called rock and ice. I guess that includes, well, rock and ice, you would imagine. So I think a lot of these planets and stuff are going to be procedurally generated as well, which would make sense given that's how Elite works, basically. All the universe and stuff, most of that has been procedurally generated, so it makes sense they would use that same technology. And the idea is that you'll be able to basically go in and land on a planet fairly seamlessly, so you won't be seeing loading screens or anything like that, I guess. Apparently there'll be something like an orbital cruise, which is supposedly something like Super Cruise. Then you'll choose a landing destination, you'll land on the moon, then you'll deploy your vehicle. So that, it sounds like it's going to be pretty cool. I mean, realistically, they say that it's kind of seamless going from Super Cruise to Frameshift as well, but that kind of transition is basically a loading screen. So we might see the same sort of thing where you've got kind of a transition screen between going from orbital cruise and then landing or something like that, but there's really no way of knowing at this point. We'll just have to wait and see how that works. So that's a bit about the actual planets themselves. Now, what we'll be able to do on the planets. Apparently there'll be like bases and outposts and that sort of thing that you can either attack or dock and trade on. You know, there'll be all different sort of things like that. There will also be planetary specific missions and that sort of thing, and trading resources and all that. There's not a lot of information about how all of that sort of stuff will work, but you know, there's still lots of stuff that they are yet to announce, basically. We've just kind of been given a brief overview of all this sort of thing. So we will be getting as I said, a surface recon vehicle, which the basic one is called the Scarab. Apparently most ships will be able to carry one of these. Not every single one, but most of the ships will be able to. And the Scarabs will be able to do different things. They'll be able to carry a bit of cargo. Apparently they'll also be carrying weapons and that sort of thing that you can use to attack different things. So that could be interesting. And yeah, it kind of think of it like if you played the first Mass Effect. I know a lot of people are considering that the Scarab will be kind of like the Mako. So you'll be just kind of cruising around, maybe doing a bit of pew-pew, maybe, you know, scanning and picking up some resources or something like that. So it could bring in some like really interesting gameplay options and that sort of thing. So it sounds pretty cool. And one thing as well that I kind of probably should have mentioned a little bit earlier is that apparently further down the track, after Horizons comes out, there'll be a big update that will add in looting and crafting. Now, there's absolutely no idea about how this is actually going to work. It's possible that it will be kind of scavenging destroyed ships and then maybe using components or something like that to create overcharged weapons, but there's absolutely no information at all about this apart from it will be coming sooner or later. So not a whole lot of information about that, but as I said, it will be there at some point. So it's that's going to be pretty interesting. And one thing I don't know is that if you will need to own the Horizons update to get access to that, because there will be certain things, like if you don't have the Horizons update, you won't be able to land on these planets. Basically, what will happen is you'll be, you know how if you get too close to a star while you're fuel scooping or something like that, and you just get dropped out of Super Cruise, the same thing will happen. So if you get too close to a planet and you don't have Horizons installed, you won't go into the orbital cruise mode or anything like that. You'll just get dropped out, and you'll have to go back into Super Cruise and fly away. Anyway, I don't know what the situation will be with looting and crafting. I don't know if that's going to be Horizons specific or if that's something just for, you know, Elite as a whole. I guess we'll have to wait and see about that, unless it's been announced somewhere that I just haven't been able to find it. But yeah, it should be pretty interesting. So they have promised, like Frontier has promised that the core game, which is now being called Season 1, I suppose, that will be continue to be updated and expanded upon as well. Which I really hope does happen, because there are a number of things in the core game that do need to be kind of fixed up and played around with before a major expansion comes out, or after the expansion comes out even. But anyway, so that's a bit about Horizons. Like I said, there's a whole lot of information that's been put together in this forum thread, so I do suggest you go and read that, because I haven't gone through everything. Otherwise I'll just be reading off bullet points one after the other. But that's kind of some of the important stuff, I think. So let's have a quick talk about the CQC update. CQC, or Update 1.4, should be coming out in September. Apparently it will be coming out like 1 or 2 days after the Xbox release. I'm not 100% on that. Like, it seems like something that is it's something that's good to promise, but if they have major problems with the Xbox launch or something like that, then who knows what will happen with the PC version. But anyway, supposedly it'll be coming 1 day after the Xbox release in September. Now, it should bring in 3 ships as well. So the Imperial Eagle, then there's a Federal gunship, which sounds kind of interesting, and also the Federal dropship Mark II. I'm not really sure why they decided to make a Mark II version of the Federal dropship, given that it's one of the least popular ships in the game, as far as I know. Like, it's really not a ship that many people use. I suppose the Mark II version might be kind of encouraging people to use it a bit more or something like that, but I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I mean, I suppose we'll just have to see how the ships go and everything, because we really don't know much about them at all at the moment. And then, speaking of ships, Update 1.5, which is, at the moment, it's just being called ships. There's no idea if that's actually what it's going to be called when it comes out, but that's what they're calling it at the moment. 1.5 is supposedly going to come out before the Horizons expansion, and it's going to increase the number of ships from 20 to over 30, which that should be really cool. I mean, there's no idea what sort of ships or anything it's going to be. It's just there will be more ships. They may be variations of ships that we've already got, or they may be completely brand new ones, or it could be a combination of the two. I would expect a combination of the two, but you know, there's really no way of knowing. But anyway, that should be out before the Horizons expansion. Not quite sure when. But yeah, that should be really cool. So it's something to look forward to, I think. But yeah, so that's kind of a few things to look forward to, you know, until between now until the end of the year. So it's kind of a lot of stuff, and obviously there'll be a lot more information coming out about Horizons over the next few months as they get closer to beta and release and everything like that. So definitely, keep an eye on the forums and all that sort of thing, because that's probably where most of the information will come out. That and the newsletter and everything. But yeah, I think I'll end this one here. It's been a lot of talking about Horizons. Hopefully it's kind of made sense. I'm not quite sure. But anyway. So yeah, as always, I've been Vosko. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.